Alright. Twitch jungler. What is this? Gold plat? How to guide? Again? Back at you. And again, fundamentals important. First start of the game, you have to look what champions they have. Big threats. And here we have Katarina and Kha'Zix, two champions I need to respect. And as opposed to the last time I played this, I didn't have someone that could invade me because it was Maokai. So this time, I have to be a bit more careful. And also, speaking of knowing how to farm your jungle, you can now make decisions on ganking earlier. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to ping them, because I'm going to go bot lane. Now this might not necessarily work, but it's a good way to put pressure on them. Because after that I plan to do blue, from, and then I can potentially look to do a regank. However, this HP looking low, they don't have exhaust, but now they are posturing so far up that it's not really gonna lead to anything. And this is just because they entered. Like, bot lane should not have gone that far up. Now I lost a lot of HP. And I've already invested so much into this that I could even consider to go back again. But it's important now to, while you're practicing fundamentals, to not get caught onto one idea and then like not decide. It's important to be decisive in what you want to do. So I shouldn't stand there if I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. If I'm sure I'm going to do it, then I should just go for it straight away. And not doubt myself. However, I went for the safer option here. To just farm. Because the wave is pushing into them, it should be pushing back out. So what I'm basically hoping for here is that the wave is gonna push back out again. And I should be able to make another gank. And I'm checking if Milio has heal still, because it would be nice to know. In case I'm low, I know if I'll be able to get some help. And now since Lulu's posturing further up, it's also a bit scary. Because she's gonna throw E and Q me, making me a lot more vulnerable to getting killed. But luckily for me, they were slow in their reaction. Everything is good. Unluckily for me though, I got nothing. I got 100 gold, which is ideally nothing. I want to break off my campaign if Kha'Zix goes to mid. So it's important now at this point, especially on Scuttle, to just help. I mean, seeing carry and HP now, I probably could have gone instantly and just try to kill her, as it would probably just take one auto attack to finish her off. She doesn't have TP, so there is a chance she will continue to greed. Since I don't really have that much gold yet, I could ideally look for another gank bot. But seeing as how everything is going, I can't do that. I will just go for a recall. Prioritize damage. And now, my plan is, which is important to follow, is to just take golems and then raptors. And then depending on how mid lane is looking, I can go there. Also, I can ask my mid laner if Karin has flash. If you're not on voice with them, you can type it and ask. But lucky for me, I have him on Discord, which means I can ask. And he said yes, which means it's going to be very hard. So the better play is to then just bot lane is shoving now. Kha'Zix was last in bot lane. I want to make sure that they don't die to him. And it's also good to look at the mid laner, especially when it's someone like Katarina that might look to roam, so you can ping them off. So the biggest difference here from low silver to these high reloads is that you are more willing to break off farm and deviating. But you still want to maintain that farm. Because you want to stay relevant in levels and not fall too far behind. But now since bot lane died, which was unfortunate, I could have pinged them and said just play safe, I'm on my way. But if it would have made a difference, I'm not sure. Now I see Shen here and Kha'Zix. And now mid lane I will say why me. And I don't know, it's crazy. And Karina again low HP. But I got spotted on a ward. And he TPs, which makes her even more likely to. But like... I want to focus on Katarina here. I should be able to kill her. With PTA. Might die. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, Emilio walked too far back. But I got a 1-for-1. It's only unfortunate because Katarina now gets more items and she can be a bigger threat to mid lane, but he's a pretty swag lord, so he should be fine. And she also used Ignite, which is good because it kind of balances everything out. He gets some items, but he gets no Ignite Katarina. And since there's a lot of pressure on bot lane now, I will choose to avoid taking my biggest or my furthest camp. Because I want to be bot lane as fast as possible while also getting level 6. And now I see minions are here, so I need to wait for the minions so Katarina can't jump to them and get away. Like so. I could turn, but it is just a waste of time. So I'm gonna just keep farming now. So again, you can just see like, it's just about not wasting too much time. And these are the basic fundamentals it takes to play every single game. In every elo. Like you just become better at this. But the foundation or the fundamental to it all is farming and staying even. But the biggest problem you'll have in this elo here is just not following your plans and wasting too much time, which is why at a later stage you need to polish that. You need to find better ways of ganking and staying even or just slightly behind in level. So depending on lead, you might even be slightly ahead. Chance to take some bot lane farm here. I showed myself. I don't want to take too much damage. Now I use this W. Seems like Kha'Zix is here. Hard to tell. But I will walk away and bait. But I'm walking away. Hopefully that will lead to them staying. And hopefully Kha'Zix wouldn't be bot lane. Which I think I said he might be bot. And it seems I was right. But it's not that big of a deal. I got my Kraken. Bot lane still under pressure. They can still die. Kha'Zix used a lot of shit. Karina's miss. Now she's back. It's like, still it's a win for bot. Because they still have a lot of pressure. Pogmo will have to give up this farm. It's like, even though I died and there was a slight int play, it's still good. And the reason I don't go here is just because I like PTA more. I think Hail is good though. But I would say it's like better against like full squish, you know? Like now they have a Shen top. And although Hail is good for ganking as well because you get a lot of damage, the PTA adds some kind of utility in the fact that it increases the damage they take from all sources. So if I have a strong laner or whatever proc PTA, then they will deal more damage to them as well. I'm pretty sure Kha'Zix can. So again, you can now go for these risky plays if you see it fit. But you need to kind of like know the game. But you have to understand the risk here. And that is that you might die. Just unlucky that Kha'Zix walked there. If I had the distance, it would have been fine. I'm kind of glad that these bad things happen because it just shows the downside of making these kind of decisions. So like now I'm losing time farming or ganking bot lane, being on the map. Like you see bot lane play a lot more aggressive now probably as opposed to when I was alive. But I can still just path straight to bot. Kha'Zix taking Herald means that he will also probably be bot lane now because I probably wouldn't want to ideally use his Herald top lane. He would want to kill the bot lane and then pop it there to just bring them further ahead. But now that I have Kraken and Red and PTA, I feel pretty confident in killing this guy. I will just flash because he's a piece of shit flashing from me. It's not worth though, in the big picture, considering Dragon is coming up. But we can make it work still. Ideally, as a team fighting champion like Twitch, you want to save your flash for these kind of objectives. And you need to get your team on this as fast as possible. So you need to spam ping. Spam ping everyone. Make sure that they come here. Throw W's in the bushes you don't have watered just to get some extra control. And Twitch actually has a very strong smite. Because your E deals roughly around 300 damage and I now see 900, which means that around 1200 I'll do the smite. So now, I was very slow there. Doing at 980. So like at say 1400, you press your E smite and you're guaranteed to outsmite almost everyone. Besides like a good Lee Sin or Elise or someone. Like I very, very rarely lose my smite fights on Twitch. And again, speaking of understanding when and how you and what you can give up, I was now considering giving up my topside farm to go bot. But seeing as Misfortune killed Ogma, that means that I can go here and continue clearing. But now that they popped Herald, I just want to be here. But it's likely just going to be a bait Herald and they're not going to do anything. We will have to see. Okay. And it's also really good to get the last hit on the Herald. As you can see, it gives a decent amount of XP. I'm pretty sure. But yeah. Again, the most important part of now is just still farming, but also going for other plays more frequently. But also understanding the risks of those plays. If there are plays with risks involved, such as the one that I did on Kha'Zix, you saw how much I lost there by failing that play. However, if it was successful, it would have been a different story. But for the video's sake, I'm glad that it went bad. And it also goes to show how important it is to recognize who the threats are on the enemy team. Because you can see that Kha'Zix is a very big threat. So like, unless you know for a fact that you can actually kill him, you really do want to just avoid him. And as you saw in that last fight, I couldn't kill him. But under the right circumstances, I could. Which is why it's important to recognize who the threats are and what you need to be able to deal with them. So I'm going to continue taking this now because they're going to push to the tower. I'm not going to go for a gank here. I'm going to play for them going for the tower and then potentially punish them there. And now that me and Kog'Maw have flash on the same timer, I know that he doesn't have flash, so I don't have to worry about anything. All I had to worry about there was Kha'Zix. And also, the second you get level 9, you ideally want to get your blue trinket, because that also helps give control to your own jungle, preventing Kha'Zix from being able to kill you. And you always want to position yourself in a way where you just have like an easy access. Like if they come for you, you want to be in a position like this, so you can instantly run away out. Because in a position like this, I get the most vision possible, while also if they come here, I can just easily exit. Now I see Kha'Zix here. Lulu spot, Kog'Maw's coming back, Barion's mid, and top lane I don't really have to worry about. So I know that I can just farm. Although there is a chance that Kha'Zix is going to go top lane, if Sion were to stay there. And under the right circumstances, I'll be able to pick off Kha'Zix there, but it is fine. One option I did consider was to recall early, but the decision that I made here was that my bot lane should be fine. So I opted to just take this farm here, so I don't have to worry about it. And then I would rather just go bot lane now. So you can say that was a bad decision, but no one died, so it's still not too bad. Victor is really strong, and Sion is a really good frontline champion. So you can see our team is aware utilizing that pretty well. Until they didn't. They didn't respect Katarina there. So again, recognizing threats. Realizing who can kill you or not, so you know what to be careful of. Here as an example, you would have to recognize that Katarina is a threat. So you would then be careful of the daggers. Also, you want to flame your mid laner here for taking 2 kills. Throw your W over there to cancel a recall, and then Sion is going to be able to shove. Obviously, you can tank the turret, so there's nothing to worry about here. Right? Oh my god! And then it's important to, like, cry a bit, you know, let the emotions out. Let's say guys don't cry, but men do, you know? Or boys don't cry, but men do. It's important to cry. So just let those tears flow down your cheeks as you are suffering throughout this game. It really sucks to use the summoners for like nothing, but at the same time, like at this point here, using flash at this point is good because now, I mean, it's not bad. And I will explain why in a second. Once after this commercial ends. And I could have actually took that, but I didn't want to risk it. The reason why using flash there isn't bad, because the thing you want to save your flash for is dragon. But now dragon dies after I use my flash, which means that my flash will be up before dragon again. So I'll then have the option again to use my flash on or before dragon, depending on the situation. But most of the time in this elo, I would just suggest to just save your flash, even if it means letting go 1 kill. If it's talking 2 or 3 kills, then you can argue otherwise. But again, talking about fundamentals and just practicing them. Why did they make me go? We are not gonna do it. I don't like to... if they don't go for it instantly, just leave it. Don't go back again. You need to know that you're dealing with decisive people and they're not decisive. So when they come to fight you on it, it's a big risk. Because they show themselves as being indecisive. So you don't want to play around that. So we need a different situation. Yeah, again, fundamentals, flash, important. Biggest fundamental when it comes to flash as the hyper carry or a champion like Twitch is that you want to save your flash for a situation which will net you the most. And that situation for a champion like Twitch would obviously be something like a Dragon or Baron, right? Because then you're most likely going to get a lot of kills, and you're most likely also going to get something else to it, being an objective like Dragon. People die, you kill them, and then ideally after that you would maybe get a tower or something, depending on the death timers, or just Baron, or just Dragon. Like, you just need something more. Like, Flash isn't worth a kill later in the game. Early game it is, but later it's not. So, yeah. Now, recognizing again Katarina as a threat, I will distance myself from the daggers. But now seeing this position here, I know she's going to come here. And now Kha'Zix was topside, I think. He's going to mid. I don't have ultimate. And they have one threat alive. But they shouldn't have any wards here. Yeah, as you can see, Kha'Zix doesn't care, which means they don't have any wards here. So I'm going to just take my hands off the keyboard, relax, look at my smite. It's 1200, and I just want to practice getting that clean smite. So around 1500 now, if I still miss it. Because I deal 50% less damage. So, do better than me. Don't do 1500, do like 1400. Then I won't have 87 HP left. So that is important to also recognize when you're doing Baron, if you're tanking it or not. Because if you're tanking it, then it means that you're dealing less damage. And now that we've left stage 2, I mean stage 1, the last video cut off on stage 1. And now we're in stage 2. We've been in stage 2 for probably the past close to 10 minutes at this point. Hello? Hello? And, and yeah, stage 2 basically just involves avoiding these kind of situations, although they can be favorable to you depending on what you have. Right now I don't have ultimate, so for me it's not favorable, and I don't feel like I can add anything of value to this fight, so I'm going to just keep farming. And I will keep farming until 1 minute has passed, or I reach my next spike, in which I will recall. But since I have now 55 seconds until dragon spawns, I ideally want to get my next spike until then, and I am currently right on point. So I will now recall, get my spike. If I have enough money, I will buy ping 2, because that will make my life a lot easier, because something I do rely on is vision. And especially against champions like Kha'Zix, Katarina, or like Shen, or people that would run away into the bushes, it's nice to have vision. And it's also nice to be able to run into, or run through vision, so you can continue kiting and not run into the situation where you cannot auto-attack anymore. But yeah, stage 2, which we're in now currently, just involves playing around objectives, pinging dragon, hitting these things here, which means Fortune should have hit, because this allows, or denies, Kha'Zix from being able to jump in. And now again, recognizing Kha'Zix as a threat, I don't want to go in here because he might jump into me, and I don't want to be isolated. So I'm currently just staying here, reading or waiting to see what he does before I do anything at all. Again, use my blue smite. I will now try and locate Kha'Zix, and it seems like he's going to try and steal it. Katarina's on the side, but she's now dead. And then there's no way this guy outsmites me, because he just fucked it up. And then he just A-click on the ground, and that is it. I could have smited faster there, but obviously since I'm talking, then it's different. But yeah, as you can see, he did a smite way too early there. So he lost the smite fight. Yeah, this is basically what you want to practice on once you like reach this kind of elo where you're playing high silver, gold into platinum. The better you get at these things, the easier it's going to get. And again, like reaching the higher elos is basically going to be this again, but just in a more controlled and less risky manner. So like as an example, the Kha'Zix play would not be ideal because the player is going to be better. But I was basically just hoping that Kha'Zix will still be in his blue, or he's doing Grump. But those are the chances you don't want to take, because they will capitalize on those mistakes a lot more, and you will end up falling much further behind. And again, the important thing here is to just stay even, slightly behind, or in a perfect world, ahead. And currently I'm 1200 gold ahead, so that is good. In items though, I have 1k gold on me as well. So depending on Kazakh's next reset, I might have more or less. But currently it's looking like I have more because I am 50 CS up on him. So as you can see, he arguably farms jungle better than me. But still, I am up in CS while also being up in KP. It's not like he's done anything better than me. And also you can just see that me like being a lot more strict on myself on the idea of farming or any of these things has kind of just propelled me forward or like over him, you know. So because I'm doing this at a much more efficient level as opposed to Kha'Zix, I'm ahead by 3 levels and also 50 CS. But again, if this is you as an example, you might be even, and that would still be good. As long as you recognize him as a threat, you respect him, play properly, you'll be okay. These games will be a breeze. Most anyway. I'm not saying how to like completely fist these kind of games, because that is unlikely. Of course, you are playing a very bad champion in the jungle. I think Twitch jungle is currently sitting at about 40% win rate or something in jungle, if not less, probably 37 or something. So it's not like you're playing an S tier jungler, you know. So losing is to be expected. But if you're a gold player playing in gold, if you implement these things, you will surely perform at a decent level and have something among the lines of like 60% win rate, I would say, which is again enough to climb. Just implement these things that I'm talking about in this video here and you'll do great. I could go in here, being as I'm quite strong. I thought he was dead, so I just kind of left him. Sorry. I thought he would die in the PTA. And now we're just going to do some random in plays. It might show what we should do, what we shouldn't. But we can go for them. We need to respect him here though, and we see Kha'Zix coming, so I kind of want to ideally wait for him. Why is he not dying? I deal no damage. So yeah, if you see people come from the side or something, you don't want to open until they show themselves or they use the leap or something, because you might end up in a bad position. So you want to position away from the assassin while also taking into consideration the other people. So like Kha'Zix and Katarina, or sorry, Shen and Katarina was here. I saw that Kha'Zix was coming from here, and you could see I was just sitting here. Because at the same time I'm avoiding myself. But I also saw my mid laner, because he was obviously going to be in a bad position because of what I did. Because Kha'Zix would sandwich him, but still it worked out. Anyways, this is my advice and guide on how to play Twitch jungle in high silver to low platinum. And just perform and just improve. And play consistent. And don't deviate from the plan. That is it. Thank you. Wackaflcka out. Wackaflcka!